Hey guys, welcome to this session called Control Your Time Using the Optimal Week. This is one of the elements of control that I think is maybe most important to our lives as entrepreneurs and mavericks, is the idea that we get to control our business versus our business controlling us. So think about this. Do you remember when you started or you bought your business? You had this thing called hope, a hope that finally this was going to be your ticket out of the rat race. Hope that you would now be able to control your life, control your time. Hope that by creating this new venture that you'd be able to help people. So you had this vision of the impact you could make on the world and the lifestyle you could create for yourself and your family with your own business, right? So then fast forward a few years or even till now, and that vision is absolutely blurred by the realities of too much to do, not enough time to get it done. Now you're overwhelmed, you're working all of the time, you're skipping vacations with the family, you're constantly worrying about money, and you're stuck in this endless loop of complaints and challenges and generally some lack of fulfillment. So you might even find yourself saying something like this. I'm drowning here. I'm constantly pulled 1,000 different directions. I've got no idea where I should go first. I haven't had time to myself in so long that I've forgotten what it even feels like to choose what I get to do next. When I do get rare time with my family, I feel like it's taking me away from work, and I get resentful toward my wife and my children, my family. I wonder if I should just get a normal job like everybody else. You know what? I don't even know why I'm doing this anymore. So here's the deal, guys. If you feel like this, you are in no way alone. In fact, I would bet that every small business owner that you know has said some variation of this quote at some time in their career. I can't think of a single client of mine in the past 20 some years who hasn't shared something like that with me. So one of the things I find myself saying to my clients nearly every week is some variation of this quote. Hey, listen, man, you can work for your business or you can make your business work for you. And that sounds awesome, right? You know, like, how do I make my business do what I need to do for me instead of me always having to work for my business? But inevitably, their next question is, okay, Chad, sounds cool, but how? How do I do that? I've tried everything that I possibly can. So one of the greatest tools that I've come across to help entrepreneurs and small business owners start taking back control of their time and their business was a concept called the Ideal Week from a guy named Michael Hyatt, who was a fantastic author. He was really prolific, probably 10 or 15 years ago. And so I've modified his Ideal Week, and I've turned it in and added my own pieces and called it the Optimal Week. And so the optimal week is what I want to talk to you guys about today. So the idea behind the optimal week is to craft a visual for yourself of what your week would look like if you had 100% control over your time and your schedule. So the difference in Michael's ideal week and my optimal week is that I don't necessarily divide my week into themes or segment my days into very specific focus areas. I schedule my optimal week very purposefully to maximize my ability to focus on my quarterly goals. That may mean that my days have themes, or it may mean that I have purposefully loaded my week to place a priority on a specific goal. And I tend to do this on about a quarterly basis. So we're in the second quarter of 2021 right now. And why don't I show you what my ideal week looks like for this current period of time. So give me a second to share my screen. All right. So this is my optimal week for 2021. So this optimal week is based on kind of this very simple concept of putting the big rocks into my schedule first. In my case, for this quarter, the big rocks are my coaching time and my marketing or my creative time. Those are the two things that are most important to me, the biggest rocks in my life. So these things go into my calendar first. And what this means is that the only time that I have for coaching is between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's it. If the only time that someone can fit me into their schedule is on a Monday or a Friday, then I won't take them on as a client. I am super firm on my calendar because I am firm on creating the life that I have always imagined. So likewise, I'm also this quarter working on lots of creative and marketing projects, Mavericks, a couple of other things that really require my presence and focused creative time. So I've made sure to put those in my calendar as a priority. And again, that time is non-negotiable. All right. Okay, so starting on Sunday, let's walk through the elements of my optimal week. So the first thing that you're going to see is this Sunday planning session. You'll see over here I do have some time scheduled for workouts. I've got usually a full morning of something that I'm doing on Sundays and Saturdays. But the beginning of my week is the Sunday planning session. It is the first and the single most important element of my week. This is where I set the tone for my week. I schedule my important tasks for the week, and I identify some potential roadblocks that might need to be addressed to keep me on track for my goals. So essentially what this looks like for me is I'll open up my calendar, I'll open up my task list, I'll determine what has to get done in the week, and I'll very purposefully schedule time blocks into my calendar to get that stuff done. And I may move some blocks around. I'll talk about Lego blocking in a bit, but I may move some blocks around to make sure that I get done what I want to get done. So first and most important time is the Sunday planning session. I actually wrote an entire article about this. I'll find it and I'll share it inside the Mavericks group for you guys coming up soon. But I have a whole article on how to do the Sunday planning session. The next thing then is my morning and primarily my morning rituals, but my morning and evening rituals. So I firmly believe that the way I start and end my day has a significant impact on the success or failure of that day. So I get up each morning about 4:30, and each morning I do some variation of a morning routine called Savers from Hal Elrod. Savers stands for silence, affirmation. I can't even remember what the V stands for. But we'll skip the V for now. Visualization. Sorry, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. So silence is meditating. So I use Sam Harris's Waking Up app. A is affirmations, and so what I do is I repeatedly repeat a set of affirmations I've written for myself out loud. Visualization is spending time visualizing what a successful day would look, taste, feel, smell like. Then I do exercise, okay? And you can see my exercise in the block. I have two different pieces of exercise that I do each day. I will walk or hike. It says hike or skin there. That's a wintertime thing where I put basically a piece of mohair or fur on the bottom of my skis and I walk uphill. Great exercise if you've never done it. I know a lot of you steamboat people know what skinny is, but some of you aren't from here, so I thought I'd have to explain it. Or I'll take a hike. So I do that for 45 minutes to an hour, and then I'll go to the gym and I'll do my gym workout. And my gym workout is more strength. When I get all of that done, I'll typically do some reading. I'll read something inspirational, self-help, business-wise for a little while. Right now, I'm kind of alternating between random chapters of Tim Ferriss's Tools of Titans. And then I'm actually rereading one of my all-time favorites called The Prosperous Coach by Steve Chandler and Rich Litvin. The S is scribing, so that's where I'm basically journaling. So and I alternate my journaling between the 5-minute journal, which allows me to put things that I'm grateful for at the beginning, and kind of plans for the day, and a concept called morning pages, which I think I've talked to you guys about before, which is simply 3 handwritten pages that I use to kind of empty my monkey mind. So that's my morning ritual. My evening ritual is quite a bit simpler. I typically drink some form of non-caffeinated tea, like a chamomile or a peppermint tea. And then I sit down for the second half of my journaling before I head to bed. And we keep the temperature pretty cool. But I don't have a big evening routine, but my morning routine is super important. As it relates to workouts, I've tried every time of day for a workout, but the morning works best for both my body and my brain. So any anxiety, uneasiness that I have, it can generally be allayed through simple cardio workout, like the bike or like skinning and some simple strength training. So I'm not training for anything right now. A whole bunch of weekday workouts plus a longer fun workout on the weekend isn't really enough to keep me where I need to be. So, all right. So then I go through a period of processing emails and completing tasks. I do this twice a day. One thing I think entrepreneurs spend way too much time on is emails and task completion. So I use task batching. And again, I wrote an article about that, but that's basically a system where I put all of my tasks together. And then these 2 times per day is when I work on those tasks. So I keep lists, and then I very specifically work on emails and tasks at the same time, not at the same time, but in the same block of time. So I use this task batching to complete all my tasks for the week in probably a focused somewhere between 9 and 10 hours per week. That is more than enough time to get all of my task work done. Okay. And again, notice I only do this twice per day. My email's not open all day long. My notifications turned off for the most part. So those red blocks there are processing email and completing tasks. I also have coaching and creative blocks. So right now, I have a very full coaching calendar. Okay, so my coaching calendar is chock-a-block full all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, all day Thursday. And so that's my focus area right now. In other quarters, I might split this up or I might use larger blocks. One thing that I've done over time is I've scheduled meeting blocks. So I'm a big fan of meetings because I think they help us set deadlines, communicate with our team, etc. But too many meetings is never good. So what I'll do instead of maybe this big coaching block is I'll schedule 4 slots for meetings each week. So, maybe I'll do it, from 8 to 9 each day, and only and always backed up with a non-negotiable task block so that I can make sure my meetings are short and efficient. But I don't have a lot of meetings in my schedule right now. So you'll see as my week goes on, again, that same process. We look at morning ritual, time for tasks and emails, big coaching block, another time for tasks and emails, and then scheduled family time, except on Thursday night where I take my wife out for a date, or she takes me out sometimes, which is fun. I also have some professional development, personal development that I do on Thursdays. I've got a group called the Graveyard Group, which is my men's group. It's a fantastic group of guys. And in that day, I actually just shift my day forward a little bit. I reduce one of my workouts because I need a break, and I shift my day forward a little bit. Fridays are a super important day for me. So I do my same processing, my same morning ritual, my same processing. And then I like to be creative on Fridays. So I make sure that I have a creative marketing block there on Fridays. But the most important part, of the end of my week, like the Sunday planning session is the most important part of the beginning of my week, is this concept of closing the week. So I've been taking Friday afternoons off and sometimes Fridays off with my wife or to do something else for at least the last 10 or 12 years, thanks to this very specific block. This is where I wrap up my week. I prepare my draft schedule for next week. I finish any remaining tasks before the weekend. And here's the deal. Once I close the week, I'm done. And I'm off to a Friday movie once COVID is over, or a bike ride, or we're taking off in the camper. Okay. So that's what my schedule looks like, my optimal week. And so let me recap for you the elements of that optimal week. So first is the Sunday planning session. The Sunday planning session, again, is where I get ready for the week. I specifically do this on Sunday night instead of Monday morning because I don't want to be running into Monday morning trying to make shit happen. Okay. I want to get it settled so that I can sleep good on Sunday night and be ready for the day. Then my morning and evening rituals. I want to make sure that those rituals are solid. So I get that good start to the day. If I get through my morning ritual each day, I know I'm solid for the day. I know that I'm ready to go. So my morning ritual, savers, exercise, get ready for my email piece. Okay. My workouts, obviously, super important part of my deal. And the only reason they happen is because I schedule them. For those of you who've seen me in person, I am not the fittest, thinnest guy alive. And that's primarily because I really like to eat, but I am a very consistent exerciser, and I'm very consistent with my workouts. And that's because they're good for my brain. They help me with my brain. They help me get in the right state. So they're important. I then have very specific blocks again to process those emails and complete tasks. I find coaching and marketing blocks, and those are my big rocks right now. So I've got those blocked in. That's important for me. Okay. And then closing the week becomes very important to me as well. The idea of taking these Friday afternoons off, once I've got all of my ducks in a row for the next week, is super duper important to me. Okay. So those are the elements: Sunday planning session, morning and evening rituals, workouts, processing emails and completing tasks, coaching and marketing blocks, and closing the week. Now, it is important to understand, guys, that this is an optimal week. I rarely complete my optimal week to 100% perfection. In fact, I generally consider it to be a pretty good week if I hit 70 to 80% completion. Okay. So you don't have to be perfect. The purpose behind this strategy of control isn't to create a plan that doesn't allow for upsets or flexibility. It's designed to place the most important items in my calendar in the positions of priority so I can increase the chances of getting those things completed while minimizing the chances for interruptions and distractions to upset my day. That's why I have an optimal week. So finally, and it's really important, I regard every one of the blocks in my optimal week as a Lego block. I mentioned that earlier. And what I mean by this is that if for some reason my schedule gets upset or something happens, I can simply grab an entire block of time and just move it to another location. Okay. They're Lego blocks. I don't just delete them. They're Lego blocks. I move them. So this allows me some flexibility while it also makes sure that I don't simply skip past an important item without making sure that I have allocated time for it in my calendar. Okay. So, all right. That is session 1 in Mission Control, our first series. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to, obviously, you can rewatch the video, take some time to create it. I use Google Calendar so that I can use colors in my calendar. But some of you who use, Apple Calendar or something else can't. But if you use Outlook, you can. And by the way, I didn't mention this. I use this calendar as an overlay. So what I'll do is I'll overlay my actual calendar on top of my ideal week. As a matter of fact, hang on a second. I'm going to show you what that looks like. Stand by. This is bonus content here, guys. I didn't anticipate doing this, but I think it's important to show you. So stand by. So here is my ideal calendar for this week, right where we are today. Okay. And so again, this is exactly what you just looked at in the sheet. So what I'll do is I'll actually overlay my main calendar on that. Okay. To make sure that I'm putting things in the right blocks. And generally I am here. Okay. This week I screwed up a little bit. I've got a couple of meetings in my meeting block. I've got a session in my, well, that actually works. That's a session in my coaching block. Then I'm actually leaving for the weekend. So my Friday block won't happen. So my closing the week is going to have to happen today. But again, I use it as an overlay. I don't use this as my calendar. I overlay my main calendar on top of it instead of using it as my main calendar. So that's a really important point I just wanted to make before we went. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you appreciated it. Give me a little feedback. Audrey's going to be giving you some stuff on Slack, and we'll interact in there as well. So otherwise, guys, I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.